The massive viewscreen aboard the TSS Odyssey filled with streaks of blue light as Commander Alina Reyes watched her ship cut through the fabric of space-time. The bridge hummed with quiet efficiency, the crew's movements precise and practiced after months of routine patrols along the outer colonies. None of them could have predicted how this ordinary day would reshape humanity's destiny forever. Commander, detecting unusual energy signatures from the Procyon colony, Lieutenant Marcus Wung called out from his sensor station, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Pattern doesn't match anything in our database. Alina straightened in her command chair, her dark eyes narrowing. After 15 years in the Terran Space Force, she'd learned to trust her instincts. Something felt wrong. Show me. The viewscreen shifted to display a complex wave pattern that pulsed with an alien rhythm. Before Alina could order a detailed analysis, the ship's AI, Aria, cut through the moment with urgent precision. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. Configuration unknown. Energy signatures matching recent colonial disappearances. The bridge erupted into controlled chaos as the Odyssey's crew snapped into battle stations. Through the viewscreen, Alina watched as massive ships materialized against the backdrop of stars. Their hulls seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, creating void-like silhouettes that defied natural law. "By all the stars," Executive Officer David Rodriguez whispered, his usual stoic demeanor cracking slightly. "Those ships must be at least 3 kilometers long." Alina's mind raced through their options. The Odyssey was a heavy cruiser, the pride of humanity's fleet, but these vessels dwarfed anything they'd ever encountered. "Open a channel," she ordered, keeping her voice steady. "All frequencies." Before communications could comply, the alien vessels struck. Beams of crimson energy lanced out, but instead of impacting the Odyssey's shields, they simply passed through them as if they didn't exist. Warning klaxons blared as systems throughout the ship began to fail. "Shields ineffective," Lieutenant Wung shouted. "They're using some kind of phase-shifted weapon technology." Alina's training kicked in. "Emergency protocols, activate quantum scatter drive, get us out of their firing solution." The Odyssey's engines roared to life, executing a series of maneuvers that should have been impossible for a ship of its size. Alina had always pushed for maintaining fighter pilot protocols in capital ship training, a decision that was about to pay off. The alien vessels, despite their size, moved with surprising agility, but their weapons seemed calibrated for larger, slower targets. The Odyssey's erratic course threw off their targeting, buying precious seconds as Alina formulated a plan. "Aria analyzed their attack pattern. Find me a weakness," Alina commanded while the ship corkscrewed through space, narrowly avoiding another barrage of the phase-shifted beams. "Analysis complete," Aria responded moments later. "Their weapons require a 3-second charge cycle. Additionally, their tracking systems appear optimized for linear movement patterns." Alina's lips curved into a tight smile. "Perfect. Tactical, prepare to execute attack pattern Raise 7. Engineering, divert all power to the main gun, including life support if you have to. We've got 5 minutes of air, make them count." The crew responded with practiced efficiency, even as the temperature on the bridge began to drop and the air thinned. The Odyssey's movements became increasingly unpredictable, following a complex algorithmic pattern Alina had developed years ago, inspired by the hunting behaviors of Earth's peregrine falcons. "Weapon charged, Commander," Tactical Officer Yuki Tanaka reported, her fingers hovering over the firing controls. "Wait for my mark," Alina ordered, watching as the largest alien vessel adjusted its position, trying to predict their movement pattern. "Almost there." The alien ship's weapons began to glow with that ominous crimson energy. Alina counted down in her head, timing their attack cycle. Just as the enemy vessel committed to its firing solution, she gave the order. "Now, full power to engines, execute Raise 7. The Odyssey shot forward, then performed what appeared to be an impossible maneuver, rolling while simultaneously executing a lateral slide that no capital ship should have been capable of. The alien vessel's weapons discharged, missing completely, and in that crucial moment of vulnerability, the Odyssey struck. The human vessel's main gun fired, its concentrated beam of energy striking precisely where Arya had detected a fluctuation in the alien ship's hull. The result was spectacular. Cascading explosions rippled along the massive vessel's surface as its own energy systems overloaded. "Direct hit," Tanaka called out, but Alina was already moving to the next phase. "Broadcast on all frequencies, full spectrum," she ordered. "Send everything we've learned about their weapons and vulnerabilities. If these bastards are hunting our colonies, they're about to learn that humanity doesn't go down without a fight." As the alien vessel listed in space, secondary explosions continuing to tear through its hull, Alina knew this was just the beginning. They'd won this skirmish, but the real war was just beginning. Humanity would need every scrap of ingenuity and determination to survive what was coming. "Helm, set course for Earth," she commanded. "Maximum speed. We need to warn the fleet." As the Odyssey prepared to jump to faster-than-light travel, Alina watched the burning alien vessel through the viewscreen. They'd struck the first blow in this war, but more importantly, they'd proven that these mysterious attackers weren't invincible. The hunters had just learned that their prey could bite back. And this was only the beginning. Admiral Viktor Petrov stood before the holographic display in the underground war room beneath Moscow, his weathered face illuminated by the ghostly blue light of 1,000 tactical readouts. The assembled military leadership of Earth watched in tense silence as he replayed the combat footage from the TSS Odyssey's encounter. "Commander Reyes' engagement with the unknown hostile force has given us two critical advantages," Petrov declared, his deep voice carrying the weight of decades of military experience. "First, we know they can be hurt. Second, they don't know how much we know." The hologram shifted to display a complex network of colonial outposts and supply lines. Red markers indicated confirmed attacks, yellow showed suspected targets. The pattern was clear. These aliens were methodically working their way through humanity's outer territories. "They think they're hunting us," Petrov continued, his steel-gray eyes scanning the room. "We're going to let them keep thinking that while we prepare something special for them." General Maria Ortiz of the South American Coalition leaned forward. "What exactly are you proposing, Admiral?" Petrov's lips curved into a slight smile. "Operation Shadow Protocol, a comprehensive strategic deception that will turn their perceived advantage into their ultimate downfall." The hologram transformed again, showing a new series of tactical simulations. "We'll appear to panic, our ships will make mistakes, our colonies will seem vulnerable, but it will all be carefully choreographed." Fleet Commander Zhao Wei spoke up from his position near the display. "My analysts report their technology is at least a century ahead of ours. How do we overcome such a gap?" "By thinking differently," Petrov responded, typing a command into his neural interface. The hologram now displayed the schematics for a new class of vessel. "This is the Ghost-class destroyer. Dr. Rahul Patel, please explain your breakthrough." A slender Indian scientist stepped forward, his augmented eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. "The aliens' phase-shifted weapons rely on quantum frequency manipulation to bypass our shields. But thanks to Commander Reyes' combat data, we've discovered they operate on predictable patterns. We can't match their technology directly, but we can exploit its fundamental principles." Dr. Patel gestured, and the schematics expanded to show internal systems. "We're developing a quantum mirror defense system. Instead of trying to block their weapons, we'll redirect them. Every shot they fire will create a feedback loop in their own systems." The room erupted in murmurs of discussion. Admiral Petrov raised his hand for silence. "This is just the beginning. While our primary fleet engages in apparent desperate battles, losing just enough to maintain the deception, our Black Ops teams will be gathering intelligence and testing these new countermeasures." He turned to a dark-skinned woman seated near the back. "Director Amara Akafer, your intelligence teams will be crucial for this next phase." The head of Earth's Strategic Intelligence Division nodded. "My agents are already in position throughout the colonies. We're establishing a shadow network of quantum-encrypted communications that operate on frequencies the aliens won't think to monitor. Every retreat will be coordinated, every loss calculated." And the civilian casualties, General Ortiz pressed, her face tight with concern, will be minimized through discreet evacuations disguised as panic-driven refugee movements, Director Ockhafer assured. We're already seeding disinformation about colony populations. When they strike, they'll find only token resistance and a fraction of the expected civilians. Admiral Petrov resumed control of the briefing. The key to Shadow Protocol's success is absolute compartmentalization. Outside this room, even our own forces must believe we're losing. The fear must seem real. The defeats must appear genuine. Only then will they commit fully to their offensive. He paused, letting his gaze meet each person in the room. Make no mistake, we will lose ships. Good people will die. But if we succeed, we'll turn their arrogance into our greatest weapon. The hologram shifted one final time, displaying a complex timeline of planned operations. Phase 1 begins immediately. The TSS Odyssey's desperate return to Earth will be followed by a series of seemingly uncoordinated counterattacks. Each one will test a different aspect of their capabilities while appearing to be the disorganized responses of a panicked military. Meanwhile, Dr. Patel added, each engagement will give us more data to refine our countermeasures. The quantum mirror system is just the start. We're developing an entire suite of asymmetric warfare technologies. Director Ockhafer stood, her presence commanding attention. My teams have already begun psychological profiling of our adversaries based on their attack patterns. They're methodical, confident, and most importantly, contemptuous. They don't just want to defeat us, they want to dominate us. That pride will be their undoing. Admiral Petrov nodded in approval. We have one advantage they can't possibly anticipate. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our numbers, but our ability to adapt, to deceive, and to turn apparent weakness into strength. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They were about to undertake the greatest military deception in human history, gambling humanity's survival on their ability to outthink a technologically superior enemy. Dismiss to your stations, Petrov ordered. And remember, from this moment forward, every defeat is a carefully planted seed of victory. We're no longer just fighting a war, we're orchestrating our enemy's downfall. As the leaders filed out, Admiral Petrov remained, studying the holographic display of humanity's territories. Somewhere out there, their enemies were celebrating their supposed superiority, unaware that every victory was leading them deeper into humanity's web of deception. The real war was about to begin, and this time, humanity would be the ones doing the hunting. Captain Jin Wei stood motionless on the bridge of the Phantom Whisper, surrounded by absolute darkness. The experimental vessel's quantum mirror systems were engaged, rendering them invisible not just to enemy sensors, but to the very fabric of space-time itself. Around her, her crew worked in perfect silence, their neural interfaces allowing soundless communication as they tracked the approaching alien armada. Status report, she subvocalized, the ship's AI translating her thoughts into text that appeared in everyone's augmented vision. 8 capital ships, 12 support vessels, her tactical officer, Lieutenant Raj Kumar, responded via neural link. They're proceeding exactly as intelligence predicted, moving to encircle the Arcturus mining colony. Jin allowed herself a small smile. For 3 months, Shadow Protocol had been feeding the aliens a carefully crafted narrative of human desperation. Each retreat had been calculated, each loss strategically planned. Now, humanity's true response was ready to be unveiled. All Ghost Fleet vessels, initiate synchronized quantum fields, she commanded. Throughout the sector, 11 other ships identical to the Phantom Whisper acknowledged. These vessels represented the pinnacle of human ingenuity, smaller than traditional warships, but incorporating Dr. Patel's revolutionary quantum mirror technology. The alien fleet moved with practiced precision, their massive ships taking up bombardment positions around the colony. Jin watched through the Phantom Whisper's quantum-shifted sensors as they began their standard attack pattern. They'd encountered no resistance, exactly as planned. They've started their weapon charge cycle, Raj reported. Energy signatures matching previous engagements. Jin's fingers tightened on her command chair. Initiate Phase 1, deploy quantum mines. Throughout the battlefield, microscopic devices previously scattered by the Ghost fleet activated. Each one was designed to interact with the aliens' phase-shifted weapons in a very specific way. The enemy fleet fired their first salvo at the seemingly defenseless colony, but instead of destroying their target, their crimson energy beams encountered the quantum mines. The result was spectacular. The mines didn't block the weapons but redirected them, creating a complex web of deadly energy that encircled the alien ships. Phase 2, Jin ordered. Execute quantum mirror assault. The Ghost fleet decloaked simultaneously, appearing at strategic points around the trapped alien armada. The Phantom Whisper's systems hummed as they synchronized with their sister ships, creating a geometric pattern that Dr. Patel had dubbed the Fatal Lattice. Multiple enemy vessels attempting emergency maneuvers, Raj reported with calm satisfaction. Their weapons are charging, they're trying to break free. Let them, Jin responded. Activate full quantum reflection protocols. The alien ships fired desperately, but each shot was caught in the quantum lattice created by the Ghost fleet. The humans' smaller vessels moved in perfect coordination, their quantum mirror systems redirecting and amplifying the aliens' own energy weapons back at them. Enemy shields failing, Lieutenant Sofia Martinez announced from her engineering station. Their phase shift technology is experiencing cascading failures. Jin watched as the alien fleet's supposedly superior technology became their undoing. Their weapons, designed to bypass conventional defenses, were useless against the quantum mirrors. Their massive ships, built for overwhelming force, were too slow to escape the geometric trap. Message from the fleet, her communications officer reported. Admiral Petrov sends congratulations. Operation Shadow Walker is a success across all sectors. The enemy fell for the same trap in 12 different engagements simultaneously. A series of explosions lit up space as the alien vessel's systems overloaded. Some managed to initiate emergency shutdowns, while others were torn apart by their own reflected energy. In less than 10 minutes, humanity had just eliminated a significant portion of the invasion force. Begin recovery operations, Jin ordered. I want salvage teams ready to analyze every piece of debris, and get me a secure channel to Director Ockhaffer's intelligence teams. I want to know how the enemy leadership reacts to this. As her crew carried out their orders, Jin reflected on how far they'd come. The aliens had expected to find primitive, panicked prey. Instead, they discovered that humanity had used their months of apparent defeats to study, adapt, and develop the perfect countermeasure to their technology. Captain, Raj called out, we're detecting quantum wake signatures, more enemy ships entering the sector. Good, Jin replied, a predatory smile crossing her face. Signal the fleet. Operation Shadow Walker Phase 2 begins now. Let's show them what else we've learned while playing weak. The Phantom Whisper and its sister ships moved into new attack formations, their quantum mirror systems charging for another engagement. The hunters were about to learn another costly lesson about underestimating their prey. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were revolutionizing the very nature of space warfare. As the next wave of alien ships emerged from hyperspace, Jin felt a fierce pride in human ingenuity. Every defeat they'd endured had been a chance to learn, every retreat an opportunity to prepare. Now, finally, they were showing their true capabilities. All ships battle formations, she commanded. Let's give them something new to think about. The Ghost fleet moved as one, their quantum mirror systems creating patterns of light and energy that would have been impossible months ago. The next phase of humanity's counterattack was about to begin, and this time, there would be no doubt about who was truly hunting whom. Director Amara Ockhaffer stood in Earth's Strategic Command Center, watching as thousands of data points coalesced into a clear picture of victory. Her intelligence networks had spent months feeding the alien leadership exactly what they wanted to see. A fracturing human resistance, desperate for a decisive battle. The Dominator fleet has taken the bait, she announced to the assembled command staff. Their entire remaining force is converging on the Sol system. They believe they've found our final weakness. Admiral Petrov nodded grimly. Then it's time. Initiate Operation Checkmate. Throughout the solar system, carefully hidden quantum sensors activated, tracking the incoming alien armada. The massive fleet of Dominator ships, as humans had come to call them, moved with absolute confidence, their formation suggesting they expected minimal resistance. All Ghost Fleet squadrons, report status. Commander Alina Reyes' voice came through the command channel. After her initial encounter with the aliens, she'd been given command of the largest Ghost Fleet battle group, her experience proving invaluable in developing new tactics. Ghost Squadron Alpha ready? Captain Jin Wei's response came first, followed by 11 other squadron leaders. Their voices carried the quiet confidence of predators about to spring a trap. Dr. Rahul Patel stepped forward, his augmented eyes scanning multiple data streams simultaneously. The quantum mirror network is fully charged. We've linked every satellite, station, and ship in the system into a single coherent grid. When they trigger it, they'll trigger the largest quantum reflection event in human history, Admiral Petrov finished. Begin the final phase of deception. Throughout the solar system, automated distress calls began broadcasting. Defense platforms appeared to malfunction, their weapons powering down. Civilian ships launched in seemingly panicked evacuation attempts. Every movement was choreographed to suggest exactly what the Dominators expected, a civilization in its death throes. The alien fleet crossed Neptune's orbit, then Uranus, their massive ships moving faster as they sensed victory. Long-range scans showed they had committed everything to this final assault, over 300 capital ships and countless support vessels. They're charging weapons, Alina reported. All ships are showing the same phase shift energy signature they've used since the beginning. They haven't adapted. Why should they? Amara responded with a tight smile. From their perspective, their technology has been overwhelming us for months. Pride comes before the fall. The Dominator fleet entered the kill zone, a vast sphere of space that humanity had spent months preparing. Hidden quantum mines activated, but instead of detonating, they began resonating at precisely calculated frequencies. Enemy fleet has passed the point of no return, Jin reported. They can't retreat without exposing their flanks, Ghost Fleet squadrons in position. Admiral Petrov took a deep breath. Director Okafor, send the signal. Amara pressed her palm to a quantum-secured console. Throughout the solar system, humanity's true defensive grid revealed itself. Every satellite, station, and seemingly abandoned platform suddenly powered up, creating a vast web of quantum mirror arrays. The Dominator fleet fired their first salvos, their phase-shifted weapons lancing out toward Earth's apparently vulnerable defenses. But instead of finding easy targets, their energy weapons encountered something unprecedented, a solar system-wide quantum reflection field. Quantum resonance at optimal levels, Dr. Patel announced. The mirror network is stable, initiating full reflection protocols. The effect was beyond even their simulations. The aliens' weapons' fire didn't just reflect, it amplified, caught in a cascade of quantum mirrors that turned their own energy against them. Ships that tried to escape found their engines interfacing with carefully placed quantum mines, their power systems feeding into the very network that was destroying them. Ghost Fleet, execute attack pattern Omega, Alina commanded. The human ships emerged from their hiding places, their smaller size allowing them to maneuver through the chaos of reflected energy and dying alien vessels. Multiple enemy ships attempting to broadcast surrender signals, Jin reported, her voice tight with controlled excitement. Accept them, Admiral Petrov ordered, but maintain battle readiness. Director Okafor, status of enemy leadership. Amara consulted her neural feed. Their command ship is among those surrendering. Our intelligence suggests their entire military hierarchy was committed to this attack. They thought they were delivering the killing blow to a primitive species. The massive viewscreen showed the battle's final moments. The once-proud Dominator fleet now reduced to floating hulks or actively surrendering vessels. Humanity's trap had worked perfectly, turning the aliens' greatest strength into a weapon of their own destruction. "Send word to all colonies and outposts," Admiral Petrov commanded. "The Shadow War is over. Operation Checkmate is complete." As the command staff erupted in celebration, Amara shared a knowing look with Dr. Patel. The real work was just beginning. Humanity had proven itself more than capable of defeating a technologically superior foe. Now they would have to prove they could win the peace as well. The hunters had become the hunted, and the galaxy would never be the same. Sunlight streamed through the crystalline windows of the New Geneva Peace Complex, casting prismatic patterns across the assembled delegates. 6 months had passed since Operation Checkmate, and humanity was about to reshape the galaxy's political landscape as dramatically as they had revolutionized its warfare. Commander Alina Reyes stood at parade rest beside Admiral Petrov, watching as the Dominator delegation entered the chamber. Their once-proud warriors now moved with careful humility, their elaborate military decorations replaced with simple diplomatic attire. Behind them came representatives from a dozen other alien species, former vassals and victims of the Dominator Empire, now free to determine their own destinies. "Quite a different view from our first encounter," Elena murmured to Captain Jinwei, who stood at her other side. The captain nodded, her expression thoughtful as she studied their former enemies. Director Amara Okafor approached the central podium, her presence commanding immediate attention. "Distinguished delegates, we gather today not to celebrate victory or mourn defeat, but to forge a new path forward. Humanity's triumph over the Dominator fleet proved that technological superiority alone does not determine destiny. It is innovation, adaptation, and cooperation that will shape our shared future." The alien delegates stirred, their various physiologies expressing a mix of emotions. Dr. Rahul Patel stepped forward next, his augmented eyes scanning the assembly. "The quantum mirror technology that turned the tide of war has applications far beyond combat," he explained, activating a holographic display. "We've already adapted it for faster-than-light communications, enhanced stellar navigation, and energy production. These advances belong not to humanity alone, but to all species willing to work together in peace." The lead Dominator delegate, Supreme Commander Vexther, rose to speak. His once threatening frame seemed smaller somehow, tempered by wisdom earned through defeat. "For 10,000 years, the Dominator Empire expanded through force, believing technological superiority granted us the right to rule," he acknowledged, his translator conveying the complex harmonics of his native speech. "Humanity taught us otherwise. You could have destroyed us utterly, yet you chose to offer peace. Our people have much to learn from yours." Admiral Petrov stepped to the podium. "The Terran Alliance proposes a new galactic covenant, not an empire built on force, but a federation founded on mutual respect and shared progress. Every species brings unique perspectives and capabilities. Together, we can achieve far more than any of us could alone." The chamber erupted in discussion as the implications became clear. Humanity wasn't just offering peace, they were proposing to completely reorganize galactic civilization. In the galleries above, Captain Jin's Ghost Fleet crews watched alongside the survivors of countless battles. They had earned this moment through sacrifice, ingenuity, and unwavering determination. "The quantum mirror network will be expanded to cover all member worlds," Dr. Patel continued. "But its control will be shared, its protocols transparent. Never again will technological advancement be used as a tool of oppression." Director Okafor took control of the presentation. "Already, joint research teams are discovering new applications we never imagined. The Centaurian delegation's insights into quantum harmonics have doubled the efficiency of our mirror arrays. The Proximan scientists have found ways to adapt the technology for environmental restoration." Elena felt a surge of pride as she watched former enemies become partners in progress. The war had forced humanity to advance centuries in mere months, but peace was driving innovation even faster. "There will be challenges ahead," Admiral Petrov acknowledged. "Old hatreds do not die easily, and not everyone will embrace this new order. That is why the Ghost Fleet will evolve into a peacekeeping force, protecting all member worlds equally. The delegates began signing the new charter, each adding their species' unique mark to the quantum-encoded document. As they did, the massive display behind them showed new construction beginning throughout the galaxy, research stations, diplomatic centers, and joint defense installations. "Quite a change from when we thought we were about to be conquered," Jin commented quietly to Alina. "Now we're helping build a galactic federation." Alina smiled, remembering that first desperate battle. "We proved ourselves in war, but our real strength is in building peace. The hunters became the hunted, but in the end, we all became something more, partners in the greatest adventure our species has ever known." Above the peace complex, Earth's sky was filled with ships from dozens of worlds, their quantum drives creating a spectacular light show as they maneuvered. Among them, the distinctive profiles of Ghost Fleet vessels stood watch, their quantum mirror systems now serving as bridges between civilizations rather than weapons of war. The age of conquest was over. The dawn of cooperation had begun. And humanity, having proved itself against the galaxy's greatest military power, would help lead the way into this new era, not through force or fear, but through innovation, adaptation, and the unshakable determination that had saved them in their darkest hour. As the ceremony concluded, Alina looked out at the assembled species and smiled. The hunters had indeed become the hunted, but the real victory wasn't in defeating an enemy. It was in transforming them into allies. The next great adventure was just beginning.